All right, so welcome everybody. How's everybody doing today? We've got a great event for you for this lunch and learn. I've got my good friend Andrei Novikov here with me. Um, I've known Andrei now for man, it's got to be maybe about what 8 months now, 7 8 months.
I think
Um,
so.
yeah, about that. And he's got this great application that took me a little while to get onto, me and my team, but I can tell you honestly, I really love it. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to have Andre come out and talk about what he's done for myself. And really, it's a new way of getting listings. Everybody that we've sent it out to so far, they've loved it and I've gotten some great feedback. And it's a great way to also continue to keep in touch with your clients. All right. Um, and I know there's a few other agents. Oh, well, let me add a few more in here. So I know that there's a few agents that are on this call today that are not part of our neighborhood realty. And the reason why is I wanted to get this out to not just our neighborhood realty, but also to any other real estate agents that follow me, just to kind of show them, hey, look, like this is what we're doing at our brokerage. No big sales pitch here at all, but I want you to show, I want to really show you guys like there's a lot of things that we do here on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, not just on for teaching the realtors on how to be good realtors, but also to teach them the other side of it where we bring in real estate investing and we do fast start training class and we bring in partners from Scotia Bank and other partners that we have. And so it's a weekly thing that we do at our neighborhood realty. So with that, here's the way that I want to do it. And Andre, do you have access to share your screen?
I should be able to,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Cool. So if you
Oh,
want, you
no,
can.
it's actually disabled. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. No problem. So I'll get that up for you in a second here. But why don't I kind of do a little quick intro, and then I'll pass it over to Andre, and he can do his presentation. So Andre got his real estate license right out of the university, but ended up working at a bank for 10 years. Hey, I know that feeling. I did that as well too. To what he loved, and then returning back to what he loved most. In 2019, he founded Get Keys Realty, brokerage primarily so he can get access to the MLS data. Now, Andre dedicates all of his time to helping real estate agents across Canada grow their repeat and referral business. His flagship system, Home Equity Reports, keep agent top of mind with all their past clients by creating and delivering accurate monthly home evaluation reports. And honestly, again, I think it's a great system. So here's the way that we're going to do it. Andre is going to do a presentation. I'll probably maybe ask one or two questions throughout it, maybe just for clarification. Along the way, if you guys do have any questions, let's just maybe throw them in a chat box as they're coming in. And then what we'll do at the end is we'll then go ahead and answer all those questions that you guys have, right? Because we want to just make sure that we keep on track, and kind of pay attention to time as well too. All right. So Andre, you should have access now to share your screen.
All right, I do. Let's get that going then. Give me 1 second. Alrighty.
Beauty.
Can everyone see this green box?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So as the slide mentions, I think 2022 is going to be a little different from some of the years before. We're in absolutely crazy real estate market where there is just not enough listings to go around for all your buyers to buy. So it's going to be very important that you get all your listing clients from your past clients, from your database, because if you don't, you're going to be spending 80% of your time trying to submit offers with your buyers. And we all know how that goes with bidding wars, multiple offers. It's a lot easier on the listing side than it is on the buyer side right now. So that's going to be the difference between having a really good year and having a really frustrating year where you're going to be running around with buyers. All right. So what is the solution? We want to make sure that we keep top of mind with everyone that we've ever dealt with anyone that has ever purchased a property with us. So what we do is we automatically send monthly home valuations to all the clients in your database. And this is kind of like a quick example of what that might look like. But we'll go through the details once I actually show you what the system does. The important point here is that it's super personalized. So we're sending the clients the valuation for their particular property. And this is not just like a market updates. It's like, hey, we've had 500 listings. The market has gone up 20%. No, we're actually talking about the client's particular property, and that is where the difference is. We're not reminding them. It's like, hey, have you cleaned your gutters? Did you shovel snow? No, we're actually coming in with very valuable information. This is kind of like a bank statement for the client's property. And what that does, it associates us as the agent, not just a realtor for them, but an expert in their particular property. All right. As the result, you'll end up getting more listing and referrals.
And Andre,
5%.
Andre, can I
Yeah,
just jump in this real quick? Can we just go back to that one slide?
absolutely.
And so you're showing it from 2005 to where we are today. Um, what if they bought it 2 years ago? Do you get the skinny little graph now, or what do you kind of go back into time?
So it actually, there's two ways of doing it. We usually go back to the purchase date and we show them appreciation since then because again, you don't necessarily want to go back 20 years and show them, everything that has happened. Client cares about what has happened since they purchased it. On reports where we have more than one property, for some, say, an investor client, we go all the way back to as long as we have the data. So that's 2005, just because those properties would have been purchased at different times. So we just want to show all the information that is available. Alrighty. So the reason why this actually works is that 5% of your clients will need to move every single year. That's just the statistics, right? So if you've been in the business for a couple of years, you have enough clients to actually keep you busy throughout the year just by the virtue of them having to move. But you need to stay top of mind because if you don't, there is so many agents, there's so many people that have got their license during the pandemic that if it was bad before the pandemic, now it's just horrible because everyone's got a real estate agent that they know. And the clients that might have been super loyal to you in the past, they might be being poached by their friends, family, to list their services to try and help them out with the real estate. So you need to really make sure that you're providing value consistently, and so that they actually come back to you and they will sell with you or buy another property. And you want to do that effortlessly. You don't want to spend a lot of time doing that because if you have 100 clients in your database that you have properties, you don't want to be sending them CMA reports every single month manually. That's just going to take too long. You still need to go out and actually work with your clients, and that's what we allow you to do. Because the reports are fully automated. Once they're set up, they're running every single month and being sent out to your clients. And what does it work? Well, it's super addictive. It's almost like checking the Bitcoin price, to be honest. Every single client wants to know what their property value is this month. That monthly change, we'll go into it a little more detail, but they want to see that number. They want to see it every single time. So when you compare this to like your general marketing material, this will have just absolutely crazy open rates. Like we're looking at 70 to 80% open rates versus like 15 to 20 on your average communication. This program is super unique. There's nothing like this that's available in Canada right now, where you can white label this report to your brand and send this out automatically to your clients and actually set it and forget it. And then that's the last point, automation. You want to make sure that this happens regardless whether you're at your computer, or you're doing showings and you're busy with other clients. This will happen. The reports will be sent out regardless of where you are, and you don't have to, once you set it, you don't have to worry about them. All right, so why don't we jump into the program, and I'll show you what that actually looks like. And Gary is still running on our old system, but this is what the new system looks like. So Gary, pay attention, because we're going to be transitioning you to this new and improved system.
I like it.
This is kind of the area where we set everything up. This is where the list of clients is going to show up. And this is kind of like where all the setup will happen. So why don't we go in and click on you. I'm going to set myself up. So I'll say Andrei. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in one of my past properties. So I'll say Toronto. We'll go into 60 Bathurst Street, unit 505. And what I need to do is I need to make sure that I select the appropriate property type. So it's a condo. Let's just say that was purchased for $550, and it was purchased back in 2017. Let's just say it was April 5th, 2017. All right, so now we have this information in here. Now I'm ready to actually produce the report. The way I do that is by clicking this check mark and then create update reports link up at the top. So what's going to happen here in the status, I'm going to see updating, please wait. That's how you know it's actually working and it's creating the report for you. And as soon as that's done, there's a few things that happen. So it's going to show you the current valuation here, but it's also going to give you a report preview link over here. So I'm going to click on the report preview and actually take a look at what the report looks like. This is a good point where I can actually kind of go through the different parts of this report. So here at the top, we got the client's name. That's taken exactly like it was set up here. So it's going to take the client's name and populate that onto the report so that the client knows that it's specifically for them. Right now, I'm sending it to myself, so it kind of looks funny. I have the some kind of wording at the top. This can be customized, so this can say literally anything you want. But for me, what's important is that I want the client to reach out to me if they have any questions, right? So that's exactly what I'm putting up at the top. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm here to help you with real estate. Obviously, my branding, my photo, my information to contact me, that's important because you want the client to associate this report with you. What program is this? Sorry, this. So this is, it's called Notion. We use it, Notion is a note-taking app, but essentially we repurposed it for creating valuation reports. This is provided to you as a part of our service. And it's really, it just looks like a spreadsheet. So as you add more clients, it will look like a spreadsheet, but it just allows you to keep everything super tidy and in one spot. This, on the other hand, is something that we've created, and that's part of our service. That's what your clients will be receiving on a monthly basis. All right. Here we have the actual valuation of the property. So Toronto, 60 Bathurst, units 505. It's showing us the current valuation as 936,000, and we have the gain, which is the difference between the purchase price and the current estimate of $386,000. We also have a monthly change, and that's what I was saying, that this is the most addicting figure for your clients. They want to see that they've made $50,000 in 1 month. So this monthly change is the difference between last month's valuation and this month's valuation. And they will want to come back and take a look how much money they have made. Now, it works both ways for you. If the prices are going up, your clients are happy, you know, everything's going great. If the prices start to trend down, they start to get concerned. They will start thinking like, hey, you know what, maybe this is the top, maybe I should take some chips off the table, sell off some properties. So it actually works great for you on up trading market and down trading market. And all you want to do is you're providing information to your client about what's happening in real estate. Just moving along here, we got a nice little graph just showing how the prices have changed since the purchase date. So again, Gary, just answered your question. So this was purchased back in April, and then it just goes from 2017 of April to where it is now. Obviously, we want to set expectations, and we want to make sure that the client understands that this is not a suggested listing price or expected sold price. So you want to have, wording that kind of supports that. We also do that in the emails as well, just because, again, this is an automated valuation. Sometimes, it could be off. Sometimes a client can do renovations and not tell you about it. That's, happens all the time. So we want to have that wording in here as well. Now, since we're talking about renovations a little bit, I want to mention and let you know how to deal with that scenario. So for example, if this client over here has put in a new kitchen in their condo, and I know that maybe this would have been the estimated price before the renovation, but now we have added a renovation, and let's say the renovation improve the property by 50,000. So I want to bump up this price by 50,000. So the way I would do that, I'm going to flip back to my little system here. I'm going to find my client. I'm going to find this adjustment field in here. I'm going to click in it. I'm going to put $50,000 worth of adjustments. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh this report again. So going back in here, I want to make sure that this status changes into updating. It does take a second to do that, so let's just wait for that to complete.
And while it's doing that, Andre, where is it pulling this data from?
It's a great question. So we use the Korea HPI index. It's particular to all the different market areas. But essentially what we do is we look at where the index was at the time when the property was purchased. We'll look at where it is now, and then we essentially calculate the difference in prices. So the assumption there is that we don't know anything about the property in terms of like any renovations that might have happened since the purchase date till now. And that's where your experience and expertise and knowledge about that client and that property comes in. We'll give you kind of like a baseline valuation, assuming nothing has changed with the property. And then you can come in and say, hey, you know what, they've done renovations, they've made improvements. I'm going to tweak the valuation to make sure that the valuation actually says what I think the property is worth. So just jumping back into my sample client here, now you can see that the valuation has been increased by 50,000, and you can look at the report just to see how that's reflecting there as well. So now we've bumped up. It was, this is the old report, so 936. Now we bumped it up to 986, $50,000 difference. This adjustment can be applied to increase the price or decrease the price. So if for whatever reason you think that the estimate has overshot, for example, maybe the property is tenanted and the tenant did really bad job with the upkeep, and they really run down the property, then you can actually adjust the valuation down as well. At the end of the day, we provide you with a baseline number, and you should use your expert knowledge to tweak it to what you think it's worth today. And then what's going to happen is that the index is going to take over and automatically adjust that price going forward. So you only have to do that adjustment phase once. And then going forward, you're set for at least a year. In a year's time, maybe you'll go back and actually review and see if that adjustment still makes sense, make any tweaks, and then it's good for another year. So you're not meant to keep coming back and readjusting it every time. The system will do that job for you. Once you set it, you can forget it. All right. Any questions about this part right now? I see a little question here in the chat. Can we import existing spreadsheets into your system? Absolutely. We actually integrate with Follow Up Boss really, really well. So we have our system running inside Follow Up Boss. But if you don't have Follow Up Boss, we can definitely export from other systems like iExact, KV Core, and actually import all the clients and all their information right into the system for you, so that you're not starting from scratch. You're starting with already kind of like a base of information in here. Alrighty. Doesn't look like we have too many questions, so we'll move on to the next part. Is the current estimate based on prices in GTA? The current one, yes, because it's using the Toronto as the location. If I was to change that, it would essentially flip over to the appropriate index. So for example, if you have a client that has properties in Toronto and say in Ottawa, it would actually use the appropriate indices to come up with the valuation. So this works across Canada, as long as we can recognize the city that the property is located in, it's going to use the appropriate index to calculate the valuations. Now, this is really good for investor clients that have properties, across either Ontario or across Canada. All right, so the next thing is it's very important to actually see who's viewing the reports, because if there's a client that keeps coming back to the report over and over and over again, then it could be a leading indicator that that client is looking to sell a property or maybe purchase another one. So how we do that is we provide you with a tracking report. So let me just open that. I believe it's going to open in a different window, so give me a second. Oh, no, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to set it back to September of last year, just so that you can kind of get an idea what that looks like. I see, Sean, I see your question. I'll get to that in a bit once we get into kind of more customization part of this. All right, so this is the tracking report. So this is an active campaign, and I have blocked out the sensitive information about the clients, but let's walk through this. So we've had 83 reports that were reviewed in September, in the month of September in 2021, and there were 133 total views. So this means that there were clients that have viewed the report more than once, and they have come back to either review it, or they might have actually sent it to somewhere else in their family to look at it as well. So we track that information. And essentially what this list this here is the top people that might be more interested in using your real estate services than someone else that might have looked at the report once. Because this person with 5 views, the number hasn't changed. They're still looking at the same valuation because the numbers update every single month, but we're still within the same month. For whatever reason, they're really interested in that valuation. They might be forwarding to their spouse. They might be forwarding to their family. They might be looking to sell that property. So if you haven't talked to them, you need to give them a call and make sure that you know exactly what's going on there. So every month you're gonna get essentially kind of like a short list of clients that you would be calling instead of essentially calling everyone on your in your database. I'm not sure what I clicked on, but let me just refresh this really quick. Now, the interesting thing is that if I set this to the next month, so the month of October last year, it's kind of hard to see because I didn't want to show the actual client's information, but it will have essentially the client's name, their email address, so you know exactly who that person is. And what are you going to see that month to month, you're going to have different people that are showing up at the top. And that's going to show you who is most interested that particular month. And as you go through the full year, you're going to capture different people because not everyone is going to be looking to sell their property, in March, but there are going to be some in April. There might be someone, in a 2 months time, 6 months time, years time. But this is the way to kind of capture and get like an advance warning. It's like, hey, someone's looking at it. They might be ready to pull the trigger. I'm going to reach out to them and start that conversation before anyone else has a chance to. All right. This report is available at any time. We have a specific link that we'll be sharing, so you can access this whenever you need to. But we also have this report being sent out once a week on Fridays, and we can customize when that actually goes out. But it's to remind you, it's like, hey, you know what? I haven't looked at this report, but here's a snapshot. I'm going to call, the top people here, and again, my rule of thumb, 3 or more views. And if you haven't talked to them in a while, you should be, making sure that you talk to the client and figure out, what they're up to. And that conversation could be really simple. You can call them up and say, hey, I've been sending you this valuation report. What do you think? And best case scenario, they'll say, hey, you know what? This is so timely. We're actually looking to list our place. Can we talk about getting you to help us? That's the best case scenario. Worst case, we're going to talk about how crazy the market is and how much money they've made. But that's another way to connect with your clients and really stay top of mind. All righty. Gary, any questions about this?
No, so far so good. I mean, I've seen this come in monthly as well too, and it's great. It's a great way to see who's opening up the reports, and then also to reach out to them. Right? I've already set up a few appointments for some of my clients that are thinking about maybe potentially listing. So it definitely works 100%. And this also too is, it's kind of like taking a look at your stocks, right, and seeing them go up. Well, hopefully going up on a monthly basis. So it's definitely good. The clients love it. At least that's been the feedback so far.
All right, perfect. Yeah, this is, it's kind of like a leading indicator for anyone that you should be talking to. And yeah, there's no time to call your whole database, but this condenses everything and say, hey, you know what, these are the most likely candidates that might be going to market. All right, next thing. You might be thinking, okay, this is great for someone that's been in the business for a long time.
Yeah.
How do I deal with, how do I get new clients using this system? Well, there's a ton of things that you can do. So I'm going to give you some ideas. But first of all, I'm going to show you this form that we've created. So this form can be used in several ways. So what the form does, it asks the client to fill it out. So for example, it'll ask them for their first name, last name. It'll ask them for their address and all the information about their property. You can use this to drive new leads from Google Ads. You can do this from Facebook advertising. What you would say is get your free home valuation within 30 seconds. So the way this works, and I'm not actually going to fill out the form because that's just going to take me a little time, but I'm going to trigger something on my end that's going to do exactly the same thing. But as soon as the client fills out that form, their information is going to be added to our system. So you can see this Andrei Novikov popped up at the bottom. So this is as if I filled out my form. And what's really neat about this is as the client is populated, you're going to see that it's actually creating the report for them automatically. See how it's updating here? It's showing me the current valuation of the property. It gives me the link to the report. But then what it also does, so I'm gonna like have my phone ready here. It actually is going to send an email and a text message to the client automatically without you having to do anything. So I already just received the text message here. You can see that it's a little blurry because it's not focusing properly, but essentially it will have the link to the report. If I click on the link, it would actually show me the report. Yeah, it's kind of blurry, but same thing as if I was to actually look at it on my computer. So this process takes just under a minute, and the client actually gets their valuation report automatically as soon as they submit that form. What some of my real estate agent clients are doing, they're actually putting a QR code on postcards that would lead to this form. And then they actually capture those through essentially postcards and sending them out and getting and growing their sphere by doing this kind of service. Again, this takes a 1 minute, and then you actually have this client set up to be receiving emails and text messages every 30 days. So not only it gives them that initial valuation, but it also puts them on a drip. So whenever the new data comes in, they'll actually receive another message prompting them to take a look at it and check out their valuation. Even if you don't call them, even if you don't do anything, they're still in your database. They're still interacting with the things that you're sending out.
Sorry, Andre, I just want to make sure I'm very clear on this too. So that QR code that you're talking about now, you're saying I could drop off a postcard, if I'm doing door knocking, they can scan that QR code, put their name, address in, and then we can create that report for them.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that happens without your intervention. So that process, like if they do it at 2 a.m. when you're sleeping, or like at, I don't know, say 10 a.m. when you're doing showings and you're not available, that process happens automatically. So the actual valuation would be sent out without any of your intervention. But the neat thing is, it will actually show online leads. So like I have a little tab here that says online leads. So these are all the leads that came through that form. I can say, okay, well, here's Andrei. This is the valuation for him. I don't think that's correct, and I'm going to adjust it. But that gives you another touch point, right? So as soon as you adjust it, you can send an email to this client and say, hey, we looked at the automated valuation that you received. We didn't think that it was accurate enough. We made some changes. Take a look at it again. By the way, what are you thinking of doing? Are you thinking of listing your property? What's your plan here? And that's another touch point. It's not a bad thing, but a client that wants to receive an instant valuation, they don't want to wait for you to do it. They want to receive it right then and then, because as soon as if they don't receive something like within a couple of minutes, they're off to something else and doing something else. Your email is going to end up in spam, and like all that work and doing that CMA for them is just going to go to waste. This way, not only they get hit with the email, they also get hit with a text message. You'll have their phone number to follow up with. It's just a great system. And even if you don't do anything with this client, they'll keep receiving reminders every 30 days to check out their valuation.
Love it.
All right. What do we have next on here? I'm actually going to share this link with you guys. So if you want to play around with it, I'm going to put it in chat. You can add yourself and see what that actually looks like. And you'll get your own valuation very shortly. So hopefully you guys won't break my system.
Now,
yeah.
how do you get that QR code, Andre? Is that how does
So
that work?
so what we do is we actually will send you the QR code if you need one. So what the way QR codes work is they essentially embed the link into that image. So you can see that I have a link here at the top. It's not super pretty, but we can make it into a prettier link. But the QR code is essentially embedding that link. So when you scan it with your phone, it just redirects it to this. So we provide that for you. You don't have to do, you just need to request it from us.
All right. And do we got to be a client first?
Yes, that is how it works.
Okay. Okay. So I'll be waiting for my QR code then.
Perfect. All right. Let me see. What else are we
Well,
are we
you
looking?
know what? Yeah. Could we do a view of a client that has multiple properties? Because that's one of the things that me working with a lot of real estate investors. I've got clients that have two, three, four, six homes. How does that look? And
Absolutely.
if you can just show that to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually already have a sample client set up here. So I have John, the investor. So I'm just gonna open his profile here and just show you how that setup would look like. So here, generally speaking, on a client that just has one property, we only have this portion visible. So city, address, property type, purchase price, purchase date, and the adjustments that relates to that client. And then for an investor, we have these sections with essentially numbered as number two, number three, number four, number five, number six. So we can add up to 6 properties to a report, and you just keep filling out the information in their profile. And once you're ready, and I already did it for this client, you would essentially just generate the report. But for this client, I already have the report generated. And so the system recognizes that there's more than one property, and it's going to switch into a portfolio view. So portfolio view is a little different. It's going to have all the properties next to each other in kind of like a table format, but it's also going to show the portfolio totals, which is really neat for investors to see, kind of like to see their whole net worth. It's going to have the portfolio equity, so that's the gain since they purchased it, and then the total monthly change. And again, these numbers can get super crazy, especially with the market the way it is right now. Again, these are just sample properties; these are not real, but it just shows you that we can add more than one property, and then it just shows everything on the same graph. It's an interesting talking point because you can see that different areas will actually have different appreciation. You can very easily see that on the graph. So that's an interesting kind of topic to discuss. But as I said, this works across Canada. So if you have like a client that's in Toronto and you have a client that's in Vancouver, or has a property in Vancouver, you can have them both on the same report and same graph, and it will show the different speeds of appreciation and just how the prices have changed. Right, so let's see.
Now, what about if, and I think there's a couple questions that came in as well too, and we'll get to those. What if somebody's getting this report, and I can't see why, but now they don't want the reports anymore? Is there an unsubscribe, or is that they just have to send you the email, whoever's coming from, whether it's myself or one of the agents that are online, to say, hey, you know what, just take me off this report?
Yeah, so there's different ways to do it, and just depends on what your setup is like. So, for example, inside follow-up boss, whenever you actually send out the email, it will have a little unsubscribe button at the bottom, and that will stop any kind of communications that's automated from follow-up boss. If you're using kind of our system, all you have to do is for the client is ask to unsubscribe, and all
Okay.
you have
Oh,
to do
that's
is
good.
take off
Oh, and
the
use more.
scheduling
Oh, that's good. Okay, so I don't
here
need to be set up.
within the client setup, and then they'll stop receiving the emails.
Okay. There's a question here from now, Andrei. Is there anything else before we get to any questions here that you want to go through, or do we want to kind of open up to questions and answers?
Let me get to Sean's question just to, can you customize the report to have an external link to another website? Absolutely. So let me just kind of talk about what can be customized. Anything above essentially like the table here where it says address can be customized. So I have agents that have, instead of all this kind of text here, they just have one banner. And I believe, Gary, that's what you have done. Essentially just like a big banner here with your picture and the contact information. Anything below the graph can be customized. Again, doesn't have to be this kind of whatever Geki's logo here. Actually, if I click on it, it takes me to my website, so we can set something up for clients there. But what I see some of the agents are doing now is we're actually embedding YouTube videos instead of kind of static graphics. So that, for example, the client is looking at their investments. They're like, oh, you know what? Maybe it's a good time to sell. And here is Gary on his YouTube channel talking about the services that he provides to his clients. You can talk about professional photography, marketing, staging, whatever else, right? So as the client is looking at their valuation and they might be pondering, who they're going to use for as their agent, here you are talking about the services that you provide and why they should be listing with you. So that's been super powerful. Again, you can use this to advertise your upcoming listings. It could be, anything can be done here. We can link this to point to essentially anywhere. Hopefully, Sean, that answers your question. We got John. How long has the system been in use? So we have been like this been launched essentially early last year. That's when we had our first agent team sign up. They've been a power user of that. But the actual algorithm, it has been in the works for, I would say, 8 years. So some of you might know Ron James. He's been a huge mentor of mine over time. And back in the day, what his ask was is to create these massive CMA reports that he would take when he would talk to the listing agent, and he would just drop off a 20-page CMA report and be like, hey, this is what the value of this house is. How did you come up with a listing price? And the listing agent is going to be all frazzled, and that's how he kind of strong armed him into into the price that he wanted his clients to buy with. So that's kind of like a joke from a while ago. But since then, Ron is now a coach at Kathleen Black, and we have repurposed essentially that same algorithm for CMAs into an automated tool that now you can use to keep in touch with your clients and just stay top of mind, consistently without any effort. So I hope that's a long-winded answer of how long this system's been in use. So it's been in the works for a long time, but this actual feature has really started just last year. All right, yeah, thanks, Sean. All right. Yeah, so that's a great question. So the question is, can this be used for teams or is it just per agent? It can be used for teams, but it has certain limitations if you're signing up as a team. So we can only have kind of one branding for you. So if you're okay with having, instead of just kind of Andrei Novikov, we can say, Andrei team and have everyone's picture on the team here. We can do that. The other thing is it really depends on how you're running your team. And if you're actually sharing your clients and you're sharing your leads, then we can definitely set you up as a team. The reason why I mention it is if I flip back to my tracking report here. If you're running a team, you're actually going to have all your clients together and you won't be able to differentiate who that client belongs to. So some teams are set up in a way that that doesn't matter because everyone kind of shares the pool of clients. So that works really well. But if you want to have kind of your own clients, separately on your own report, then I would advise signing up as individual agents and having your own branding on the reports and having your own tracking for those clients. All right. Before any other questions come in, I want to flip back to my presentation and actually talk about the most important thing is pricing. So I think that's going to be a logical next question. So we have two pricing models. One is a monthly subscription. The other one is the annual. The monthly one is at $75 plus HST per agent or per team, depending on your setup. Or we have the annual option. It is quite a bit cheaper. So it's 600 per year per agent plus HST. Both plans includes the setup. So when we figure out, the template customizations, making sure that everything is looking the way you want it to be. The online form leads, so you can actually get online leads or send out postcards with the QR code. The email and text automation, so that's included as well. And obviously the ongoing support, because it's important to have someone when you have questions to reach out and make sure that things are addressed.
There's another question that just came in there, Andre. Have you saw that? Are there plans
Yeah.
or yeah?
Yeah, so for actual investment properties, duplex and triplex, because we're limited to the data that Korea is providing us, you're still able to do the valuations for them. But the way you would do it is you would just set the property type to detached and use the detached index to come up with the valuation. All right. Actually, I do see a couple of, I don't want to keep that page up because I think people might be using um, their homes, but I see a few people that are signing up for the valuation report. Is there, is everyone receiving their reports okay? Everyone's getting text messages and everything okay? Just want to make sure that everything is working on my side.
And what do you guys think of it? The ones that have actually gone ahead and filled out the report. Do you guys like it? Do you think it makes sense? Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It really is. And I can honestly tell you, like the clients that I've sent it out to over, and I went back to like 2014 from when I first started when I was an agent, and I went back and I've sent it to every single one of my clients. And before I even reached out to some of them, they've reached out to me saying, "I love this. Keep sending it." So they definitely love it.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, it's a great tool, and every time I go through the setup with the agents and we pull up essentially all the deals that they've done over the years, they're like, "Oh my God, I totally forgot about that client." But it's been 8 years. They might be looking to upsize, downsize, whatever the situation is, but you just rarely go through that exercise of kind of looking back and saying, "Hey, like look at all the uh, clients that I've dealt with that you could, be really reaching out to very passively, but at the same time with information that's really important to them and just capturing them at that right time."
And Andre, just to clarify for the price that you just showed there, Is that unlimited? I don't recall if it showed that on there. And you know, if I've got like 5,000 clients, I don't have that. But if I did, you know, can I
Yes,
put as many clients?
yes, it's not on the slide, but we're not capping you in how many clients you can send this to. This is absolutely unlimited. We encourage you to send it out to as many people as possible. And generally, we say you start seeing results when you send it to at least 30 clients. That's when you have start having conversations. But you can send it to as few or as many clients as you can, and we just encourage you to do as many as possible. Thanks, Adrian. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been we've been working really hard on this, and it's been a really nice things for agents to get, especially in Canada, because in US we have different tools like HomeBot that does similar things. But yeah, we've never had anything like that in Canada, primarily because the data is so guarded. But now we have, a solution that allows you to do that across Canada fairly well, but still be able to go back to the valuation and actually tweak it with the information that you know. And that's what we really value is for the agent to be able to kind of reflect their knowledge in these valuations and really kind of customize it to their clients.
All right, so we got a few minutes left. We're going to go right to 1 o'clock. And listen, I want to thank everybody for joining this event today. I know this is the event that we typically will do just for our agents at our neighborhood realty, but I know I got a few other agents on here from other brokerages, so I appreciate you guys coming out. If you want to learn more about our brokerage and what we do and what we offer, you can just reach out to me anytime. Just Gary Hibbert. You can find me on social media. We don't do commission splits. It's just a $500 flat fee and $150 a month, so we can talk more about that. But if you got more questions, Andrei, you're going to stick around for a few more minutes, so feel free. You can even unmute yourselves as well, too, if you guys want to go ahead and ask some more questions.
Yeah, and I got my contacts up right now. So the easiest ways is to either send me an email or call me up. Um, we don't even have a website. This is we're so new that it's still word of mouth, primarily Gary's word of mouth. So yeah.
Well, I think there's great value here, and so we'll definitely do this again for other agents that are out there. Just not just for our brokerage, but I think any agent. I think this is great value, and I think it's always about giving value to your clients at the end of the day. Period. Right?
Hi, Andrei. I'm sorry,
Hi.
Andrei. It's John Messina. Yeah.
Hi, John.
Hi. I like your system. I was hoping that somebody would come up with something like that because
Here
it takes
is.
forever. It takes
Yes.
forever to do the quick market analysis. You still have to go and do the work. So this will save a lot of time, and time is money.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate. I will reach out to you and we'll talk about it.
Perfect. I appreciate it. Thanks, John.
Thank you. Thank you, Gary, for sharing this link with me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And
Yeah.
Gary, just kind of curious, like you've been sending this out to a few of your clients, like how are they reaching out to you? Like what are the clients saying? Like what kind of communication have you had just because of these reports?
So what I've gotten back from my clients typically are emails. So they reply back to it and say, "We love this. This is fantastic." Some of them have actually replied back and saying, "Are these prices accurate?" Because I didn't adjust every single one. Some of them I did, and some of them I didn't, because there were ones that I wanted to have that conversation with. And I know that they've done some updates to their home. So I'm like, "Hey, great. Thanks for reaching out." I actually have an appointment set up for next week where we're going to set up a Zoom call. We're going to go through all their properties, see if I've missed any as well too, and then we'll adjust them. So it's great. It's just a great way to start a conversation with your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you think about it, the clients would want that report to be accurate, right? So if there is something wrong with it, for example, like they've done renovations and you're not including them, they'll let you know because they want to know what their
Right.
true value is, right? If you missed a property, they're going to call you up and be like, hey, can you add another property to this? They'll call you up and say, hey, can you do this for my parents, for my friends, whoever else? And that way you can actually share the form link with them. And then they can send it to their friends, family, and that's how you grow your sphere of influence automatically without you actually like having to ever meet these people or talk to them. You should probably call them when they sign up and follow up with them, but you can still passively do that and still reach out to so many new people that you would otherwise not even have that interaction if you didn't have that tool available to them.
Any other questions? None. Wow. Okay. I know when I first saw this on, I had like a million questions, but that's just me, right? I love asking a lot of questions, but I think it's great. I've kind of gone through it again, with a lot of my clients, and it did take a little while to get it all set up because again I went back and looked at all of my clients and every single home that they had, and working with a lot of investors where they buy multiple properties. But once I got that set up, it's all automated, which is fantastic.
Andrei,
Yeah.
it's John again. I'm using the HPI with the Toronto Real Estate Board to calculate it exactly your system operation, but obviously had to go and select each individual data that will apply for that individual property. Go and look for the selling price, obviously fill up the selling price, and then that's the same thing, but it will take time. You got to do one by one. Once this is set up, you can forget about it, right? You don't have to go and do all the work again. It may take a little work in the beginning, but then it's done, right?
Yes, absolutely. So the benefit, or let's put it this way, not so much the benefit, but because I operate out of GTA, we can actually help you get the sale information as long as it's been on MLS. So when we do the initial import of your clients into the system, we will pre-populate anything that we can find on MLS. Now, again, this saves you a little time and just kind of gets you up and running a little faster. It's not available to everyone because I have only access to GTA. So unfortunately, anyone that's outside of GTA won't be able to do that. But again, it's super simple. You can actually ask your brokerage for all your past deals, and we'll help you import that in. So we have dedicated support that will actually work with you to get everything set up. You're not starting from scratch. You're not starting by entering one by one. We can actually get the list from your brokerage and then import it into the system, and all those past properties would be in there. You just need to match them to the right names and then add the email addresses.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. You made it really easy. All I do is put the names and email addresses, and all the properties were there.
Exactly. So when we can, we do that. It just depends on whether we can get that data. But even if we can't, we'll work with your brokerage. If you have assistants that help you do stuff, we'll work directly with your assistant so that the assistant will fill out the information and we'll get you involved when we actually need your expertise to make sure that the valuations come in. So we make it super easy for you to get started and get everything set up. Jennifer, I think you had a questions. How do I get the QR code? We'll provide you with the QR code once the form is set up, and it's super simple. So we'll send you one later today because you are a client of ours.
Beautiful. All right, listen, Andre, we are at the 1 minute mark. I want to thank you again for your time and for creating what I would say a fantastic system. I love it. I know my clients love it as well too. We'll definitely do this again for other agents out there that weren't on the call today. The good thing is we've got it recorded, so I'll definitely send it out to the agents at our neighborhood realty. And again, if anybody wants to learn anything more about our brokers, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I hope you guys enjoyed today's event. We've got a bunch of other events happening. I'm doing one with Scotia Bank on the 14th. You're more than welcome to attend that. Just reach out to me on social media, and I'll get you guys a link. Andrei, thanks again, my friend. Enjoy the rest of the day. How can people get a hold of you if they want to? Oh, you got your contact information there.
Yeah, I got my
Perfect.
contact up here. Easiest is my email or my phone number. You can text me, call me, send me a note, and we'll take it from there. If you still have questions, we can set up on one-on-one. If you're ready to go and you like what you see, just send us a message. We'll figure out a way to get you up and running.
All right, beautiful. Thanks again. Oh, Andrei, send me that QR code too, please.
Yes, I will. Seems
All
like a
right,
popular
guys, take
topic.
care.
All right,
Bye.
thanks so much.